road trip. Got gas, got my fuel. We're out of here. You know, with all the traveling I do and all the adventures I try to find, there's ones that just stick out in my mind. But when you find the grave of the grandparents of a Hollywood legend, right here in Meadville, PA, these are the ones that stick out in my mind like, yes, this is a daily. Clark Gable's grandpa and grandma, and Meadville has a secret. Gable Hill. Was it named after Clark Gable or named after his grandparents? I'm going to tell you the story. Clark Gable's grandpa, Charles, he died January 29th, 1898. That's really hard to read. But his grandma, she died April 13th, 1927. There is a mystery here in Meadville about the Gables. Gable Hill, past Vernon Township, you go through Meadville, you hit Vernon Township, and then you hit the Gable Hill almost when you're in the Conneaut Lake. There is a mystery. Many people think that Clark Gable, that hill was named after him because these fine folks owned the hill. It's amazing. You gotta think about this, okay? That is the people that own Gable Hill in Meadville. The mystery surrounds this hill because everybody's like, no, Clark Gable, it's named after Clark Gable. No, his grandparents lived there. They had a big old 160-acre farm there. But I got a little secret for you.
I gotta let you in on a little secret.
I got the backstory on Gable Hill on the outside of Vernon Township. Do you want to hear the story? Sure you do. Man, ain't every day you meet a legend's grandparents, right? If you are ever so inclined to visit the Gables, they are in Meadville at the Greendale Cemetery, right as you get into Meadville. Just put it in the old Google Maps, you'll find it. Want to hear something crazy? Charles and Nancy owned all the land from the Walmart to here. Hank's Frozen Custard, 160 acres of all farmland. Find a nice quiet spot to talk to you guys, to fill you in on Gable Hill, because this, if you haven't noticed, is a loud highway. This hill right here that I'm on is a mystery. A lot of people think it was named after Clark Gable, and a lot of people think it was just named after his grandparents. We're gonna tell you the story, and you can put your own opinion in. Yeah, think about how crazy that is. At the Walmart to Hank's Custard, that's 160 plus acres, and the hill going down got the name Gable Hill. But the deal is, back in the day, if you lived on a certain road or an area of a road, a lot of people got their name put on the road, basically because you lived there. So, I mean, it's up to you to say it's after Clark Gable or after the Gable grandparents who owned basically this whole hill. Miata. I can tell you one thing, it is ridiculously loud here. Wow. You know what, and two, if you're my younger viewers, you don't know who Clark Gable is, what's wrong with you? Just joking. If you don't know who Clark Gable is, he did over 60 films. He was an Oscar award-winning actor, and basically he just did not give a damn.
Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
But I got a sad story to tell you about Clark Gable's mother. Addie Gable's life was cut short, and I'm going to take you to the gravesite of where Clark Gable's mom is resting.
In 1.3 miles, take a sharp left turn onto South Center Road.
You know, I do these vlogs, and I wanted to take you to Addie's grave. His mother, she has a very crazy story on her stone. But again, I ran into an accident where they got the road blocked off. There's fire trucks. But I'll tell you this, let me find a place. I'll pull over and I'll tell you the story. Well, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Clark Gable was born February 1st, 1901. But the sad part of the story is his mother died November 14th, 1901. Clark's mother was Adeline Hirschman Gable. His father was William Gable. And you've seen where the grandparents were buried. When Clark's mom died, she didn't even have a stone in the graveyard. And they lived in Ohio, but they moved back due to Addie's epilepsy because his dad needed basically around-the-clock nursing for Clark's mother. And he was only 10 months old. She had no stone at all. He couldn't afford to get her a stone. But check this stone out. This is her stone. Her death date says 1900. If that's accurate, Clark would have never been born because he was born in 01. So well, let me tell you the story of what happened. Clark lived with his grandparents, his mother's parents. And when Clark became a big celebrity after leaving the area, because he did live here for roughly 2 years with the grandparents. He did not live with the parents who owned Gable Hill. It's still a lot of story. I read, let me tell you, I read 5 stories. I got the straight story. I went to the library and got his biography. It says right in there, Clark Gable moved in with his grandparents on his mother's side for a couple of years, and then he kind of bounced around with his dad's brother and the family, but he was only in the area for 2 years. But when Clark became a big celebrity, moved off to Hollywood, started his acting career. No, hold on. I wrote this down because even in my head, I could not remember this. Get this. The members of the Altar and Rosary Society of Our Lady Queen of the America's Roman Catholic Church. Wow, that's a mouthful. They contacted Clark Gable when he was in Hollywood and says, hey, we've been thinking about your mother's grave. We would like to have something there for her to honor her memory. And Clark, what he did, he called the local, you know, whoever makes the stones, does the memorials for people. They put the stone in the cemetery, but they put the wrong date. If she would have died the date they put, Clark would have never been born. They never fixed the stone. That was one of the points in the story I wanted to show you, but somebody's yelling over there. Aspen?
This is an aspen. You can tell that it's an aspen tree because of the way it is.
Now, Clark was born in Cadiz, Ohio, and his mother registered him. He has a birth certificate in Ohio, but his dad, before his mother passed, or no, I should say, after his mother passed, registered him as being born in Crawford County. So if you go to the courthouse in Crawford County, Clark Gable's birth certificate is in the book, but he wasn't born here. He was born in Cadiz, Ohio. Crazy how stuff like that works. Plus, and his father, when he gave his son to be taken care of by the grandparents and the family members, basically he was an oil driller. You know what that means. This is Meadville, Connie Lake area, Harmonsburg. This is the area where Titusville had the big breakout and the big boom of oil. And basically, you know where Clark Gable's father was. He's another connection to Titusville. Think about that, all these connections that I make. Clark Gable's father was there. The guy who wrote the Wizard of Oz books, his father was there. Frank L. Baum's dad was there. All these people I connect to the big oil, and it makes sense, it really does. It just makes sense for all these people to be there during the oil boom days. But crazy how when I've been doing all these stories, these people, and even the biography, it says Titusville. The oil boom days were happening, his dad was an oil driller. And funny enough, it said his dad never struck oil. So he wasn't very lucky for, I guess, finding oil, but he was a driller. You know, I woke up this morning really frustrated. You know, some days I feel, because I do these vlogs, and I apologize, I can only get like a day, maybe a day and a half every week to do a video, because I do work, and sometimes I feel like I'm not putting out a good enough or a long enough video. And stuff like yesterday was like, man, if I had an extra day to go back and see the grave of Clark Gable's mom, would have completed the video. It just stuff like that frustrates me sometimes. But I should tell you, Clark Gable had the nickname the King of Hollywood for one reason. He did so many movies. He was a popular guy. He died young. He died when he was only 59 years old. I should mention too, I am at the Pitt campus courtyard. I figured I really never filmed here, so let's stop down here and do the ending of the video. When Clark Gable's grandfather died, his grandmother couldn't afford the 160 acres of land that they had for farming. So it went up for sheriff's sale, and it was subdivided after the sheriff's sale. But his grandmother continued to live on the land. She just didn't own the whole hill anymore. It's a fact that I didn't know about till I started looking into it. It's crazy too, if you look back in the archives, there is no, how should I say that? There is no reason why it's Gable Hill. I assume because it's the family name, they own the whole hillside. But it really doesn't say, in fact, the hill was named after the grandparents. But back in the day, that's what they did. They named places for where people lived. And it's not in the, it had no court, there's no records why it was named Gable Hill. Back in the 50s, they widened the road. And back then, they don't even know too, but they said that it was most certainly called Gable Hill. Yeah, you be your own judge. I'm not Wikipedia, people. But if it was up to me, I would say they named the hill Gable Hill because Clark Gable's grandparents owned it. And too, he only lived here for 2 years out of his life. He did come back though. Yeah, Clark Gable only come back twice to Crawford County, which is crazy. Once when he was 21 to collect an inheritance from his grandfather passing for 300 bucks. That's when he went off and started his acting career. And another time in the 30s to come back and get oil paintings that his mother did, because she was a painter. So only twice he come back. He only lived here 2 years. So hey, like I said, you be the judge why it's Gable Hill. I got my opinion, I'm sure you got yours. And two, the only reason Clark went back to Ohio because his dad remarried after his mother died 2 years after. Like I said, he was oil. Oh, pigeons. He was an oil driller, so he was on the road constantly, so he had the family members take care of him. And then the book, the biography, and then papers I was reading said he was kind of intimidated by being a single parent too. I'm not, don't take that as the gospel. I'm just saying what I read in the papers I was reading. But I'm gonna end this vlog right by the bell. on Pitt campus in the courtyard in memory of John Boyer. 1870s. Wow. I think they ring this when they graduate. When the classes graduate here, they come out and they ring this bell. I believe so. But those were the days.
Those were the days, my friend.
When I get frustrated because I don't have enough time to film or go do or redo a vlog. Those were the days where I visited Clark Gable's grandparents. And I tried to go visit. Hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. You?
Oh, you know, I can't complain. Anyway, what I was saying, I get frustrated when I do these videos and I can't go out and go the second day to go do what I couldn't do. But it was well worth it documenting the old hill that people claim that Clark Gable was named after. You know my beliefs on that, but I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I wish I'd see you tomorrow. I'll see you next Monday at 6 o'clock. Wow. What a week. This is a daily.